Hello, this is Rick Harsh of CoronaSams.press. This is an episode called Meditations During a Dog Walk. There's a dog attached to me. You're going to go on that side? Well, that makes it a little awkward. But that's okay. You have to let he's an old dog, so we'll be going slow. I was just thinking today, can you see me? I wasn't thinking that. But I wonder if there's some way of making myself more seen. I'm under lights here. That'll help. Yeah, here I am. There, hi. Where you guys been? I was just thinking about the Gaza situation, which seems to get worse. Um I mean, every stage is a worse stage. I think no matter how Zionist you are, that's probably no longer true. But if you're even sympathetic, which probably a lot of people are, to the killings on October 7th, 2023, yeah, that was pretty bad. But what followed it was very quickly even worse. If you're disturbed by blown up babies. I'll never forget the one that I saw. It somehow got past the censors. It was a Palestinian baby. I mean, really, just a baby with the skull blown off, and you can see the insides. Just a quick one. Somebody was lifting the child from rubble. There was a cameraman right there, and the censors didn't blot it out yet. I mean, probably by now it's blotted out. It was pretty horrific. But every change seems to be for the worse. Now, because like even during the ceasefires, all that happened was preparation for more slaughter, and especially this latest one. This is the second. There were ceasefires that were never purported to be intended to last long. The one in November 2023. But then this latest one, it was clear very quickly that it wasn't going to be a real one. And the Israelis were killing Palestinians in the Gaza Strip right away. And the Hamas resistance did nothing because every move they make, even if they don't make a move, the media is focused on them. And in fact, even in this one, where the United States is reporting, officials report, most media reports that the Hamas blew up the negotiations, where in Israel, even the right-wing party papers, or right-wing leaning papers, actually say, yeah, it was Israel. Netanyahu, didn't want the ceasefire. Hamas just wanted the same one that was agreed to, supported by the United States. Yeah, that's some way to go, huh? You really shouldn't have the United States backing up your ceasefires, if you want to keep them. So, anyway, I was thinking about that, thinking about how bad it's getting now. The starvation imposed from without or at the borders, and people still getting killed daily. more and more. It's really fucking bad. One of the worst things a lot of us have ever seen. I think it's in some ways worse than Vietnam. Uh, Probably in large part because Vietnam had a sort of, you know, big guys against little guys factor that was always there. I mean, it was an illegal war, an immoral war, and all of that. But this one, that the occupation is illegal and has been for a long time. It's got to be pretty surreal to be Palestinian and just watch, from 1967 to today, all this territory, they just can't get it back for whatever reason. The United States backs Israel, and no matter what anybody says internationally, it's just considered gone. So anyway, the thing, none of this is new, and I don't mean to, break anybody's balls about it. We all suffer external tragedies in our own way. But what I started thinking about was, combining that with the United States and how crazy things have gotten there. This telephone thing is amazing. The combination of let's turn around and we'll just, yeah, okay, there you go. He turns, he's turning. And there he is, by the way, if you can see him. No, you can't. Oh, the lights. I see. There's a light going the other way. If I could get on the other side of the phone, you could see me. But anyway, do you really need to see me? You can see that I'm talking, right? See my mouth moving. Well, so the what made me think of that? Well, everyday news made me think of the signal thing. But what's incredible about that is how degraded the big shots in Washington have become. If you're like me, you've always thought, well, I read C. Wright Mills. He's right. It's an oligarchy, and always will be an oligarchy. And now it's just more bald-faced oligarchy. But there was a certain gravitas to big shots in politics, and I suppose in a way that's worse. I think that's why a lot of people like Trump, is because there may be no brain and no direction, but there's also less bullshit, less hypocrisy. I don't think the term hypocrisy can ever really be applied to Trump, because there's no reason to really credit him with gravitas, with belief, or anything else. I mean, he's clearly, everything bad about him is clear right away. And, so what do you, it's like, it's like, he's sort of like, I think nobody compares him to Clinton, but I think he's got kind of it's like the little demon inside Clinton let loose and turned into a mogul. And that's, I think, a way of describing Trump. But what I was thinking about in combining these two stories, all these people like, Tulsi Gabbard, just blatantly lies and says, no, there was nothing classified. When the question clearly was, that should have been classified. She told the truth by saying there was nothing classified. But, if Israel didn't need the United States so bad, the U.S. would lose an ally, because they exposed human intelligence. Somebody in Sana'a watching an apartment building to see when a certain man would show up, and then they would alert the U.S. and then the U.S. would bomb them, which they did. Apartment building, a lot of civilians killed. They're basically doing what the Israelis, they're doing in Sana'a in Yemen now, what the Israelis have been doing in Gaza. Blow it up. Although I think there's been a lot more intentional, from the very beginning, intentional punishment of civilians and killing of civilians in Gaza. But the thing that's really bizarre now is we all know that climate change is real, and we all should be worried about the fate of our children. I know I won't be around to see the worst of what they go through. Like, my children are, just turning 20, or one just turned 20 and one's about to turn 20. So, I think they're the dangerous years, the hardest years are ahead of them. But I think they're coming soon enough. Today, one of the big stories is that Trump and Steve Bannon are both talking a lot about a third term. And, it was very funny to me when it became clear that Biden was really demented, that a lot of diehard Democrats were trying to say how demented Trump was. And they'd show examples of Trump saying weird things, which he always did. There was nothing new. And he was clearly alert. And he had energy. And, he wasn't even close to the state that Biden's in. So it was just, they just lost their, that's kind of a theme of the Democratic collapse. Loss of integrity, loss of ability to focus on what's real. And Trump, meanwhile, just gallops ahead like a fucking blind, electrified rhinoceros. Anyway, so this thing that happened that should have gotten at least 2 people fired immediately, they all lied about it, and they lied in very obvious ways, and they're all getting away with it. One of the ironic things is the journalist is a hawk himself, a Zionist. He was actually a prison guard in the IDF in his younger years. We're stopping to see if he's going to try to shit. He's old, and I don't think he has much control, which doesn't mean that he's dribbling shit all over. It means that he doesn't know when it's going to happen, and he can't help it happen. Doesn't have the muscles down there to push anymore. So neither of us know when it's coming. But he's also crazy about food. And, I have to pull him away from food because he'll eat anything, and it's just not good for him. So, and down here, the food, see, there he is. There's the food is whatever he decides is food. It doesn't have to be a hot dog or a cevapcici. Anyway, so the thought is, well, probably, things can't get so bizarre that Trump can get a third term, and we just don't see things like that. But then again, most of what we're seeing now, we've never seen before. Right now, Elon Musk is actually paying voters to to vote for a judge in Wisconsin. Now, isn't that amazing? You know, I lived in Wisconsin for a long time. If he'd offered me enough, there are several times when I'd have said, yeah, I wouldn't have voted for his candidate, but I'd have taken the money. It's the kind of guy I am. Don't like these apartheid millionaires, and also crooked judges. Don't like them either. You know, I think the Democrat judge should just say, you know, don't give me any money. I don't want any money. Okay, I'm not going to be on TV. You know, if anybody, you know, if you want to donate to my campaign, you know, I want nothing to do with it. You can make a commercial for me if you want. Just say you like me, and you'd give me money if I'd take it, but I won't. That's just a stray thought. So the thing I'm thinking is that we can't predict the future at all. Nothing's certain at all. Good time for a third world war, wouldn't you say? Iran. What have they done lately? Well, nothing nearly as bad as what the U.S. has been doing, and you know, Greenland. What about Greenland? It's a strange thing, you know, going door to door to see if Usha Vance could be taken in, if somebody would offer succor to Usha and her son. Nope. So they had to change the whole itinerary. So the thing I'm thinking is that the Netanyahu is going to get what he wants. He's going to get the Palestinians out of Gaza. That's going to happen. But the scary thing is that in coming to that conclusion, that the worst is going to happen, because there is no threat of nuclear war there. The worst is that the Palestinians are kicked out of the occupied territories after all this time. They never got justice in any way. So what scares me is how the future is so not just unpredictable, it's unreliable. The world that we've known is unreliable. Universities are caving in to a Mussolini type. Law firms are caving in to a Mussolini type. They're picking people off the streets and throwing them in jail for speaking up. Man, now this is just foreigners, but you know, the next thing they're going to go for, mark my words, there are people, journalists in the United States, working for independent media, and some of them are foreigners. There's a place called Dropsite News where the magnificent Jeremy Scahill does his work, and they've got an Arabic-speaking journalist in New York City, and I'm guessing that the guy doesn't have a U.S. passport. I think they got him from the Middle East somewhere, and you know, there are probably a lot of people like that, and they're going to start arresting those people on top of everything else. So, but this is a book post, so let me tell you that there's a good chance that I'm going to be late with the Pellegrini book I announced last time, and if you didn't watch that, well, you don't know what I'm talking about, so you don't care. I think we forgot that you need permission, and I forgot, and so did Roberto Segraf. But we also have a tremendous book of short stories written by Segraf, and this I was so excited when I read it. Me and my filmmaker friend, whose movie is still coming out, just a lot of post-op, Post-psyop. No, poster child. Yeah, editing. A lot of editing and matching music to scenes. So it won't be done until late May or June. And so, anyway, we made a film when we went to Prague. I think we've discussed that. I think I put it up here, as a matter of fact, but I'm not sure. Did I? If I didn't, maybe I'll do it. But the point is that Segraf wrote a story, and we used his story and made a film, short film, for the festival. And what he didn't tell me at that time was that he had written a whole book of short stories, and he translated them all. And he sent it to me to edit or proofread, basically. And it was so good that I was going fairly quickly through it. There was very little to change, almost nothing. And the stories were so stunningly good that I had to stop at one point. I mean, it was just physiologically incapable of continuing. And I finally just stopped and wrote an introduction, very short one, page and a half maybe, or something like that, just to get it out. Sometimes, I've said this before, I think, sometimes a book gets so hot, you gotta throw it down and pick up your second copy. Well, I didn't have a second copy, so I wrote the introduction. Anyway, it's called Decreations, and it's what you do when that was a 360, when the leash is not in the right place. So anyway, that book will be coming out soonest, I think. The 3 that are coming after that, we have to see how sales go, because this is an expensive month. This is the month I pay my accountant, and there's a lot of postal payments I pay all the post monthly. And I think I was behind a little going into March, and so this is going to be a big one. And then if there's anything left, I pay Zach for his work, and if there's anything left, we print Segraf Decreations. So that's the plan. I know this is babbling, but I don't know, you got to see the town a little bit. Italianate architecture. My place is right up there. It's kind of blocked by balconies of my neighbors, so, look at that nice old balcony, one of those tiny ones. The kind of thing D'Annunzio used to stand in and scream from at the people in Fiume, now Rijeka. So, I think this is a good enough walk for the dog. If he doesn't shit in the way up the stairs, I'll be lucky. I don't know if I threw away one bag with a little shit in it. I wonder if you noticed that. Well, good night. And there's my apartment. That building, the top balcony on this side, or the second to the top, yeah. All right, well, show me your place sometime. Comments are more than welcome. I love comments.